In STEM City by your side, we'll touch the sky. Students lifting students, hand in hand, together we rise, together we stand. From every we rise, together we stand. From every corner, from far and wide, our talents merge, our futures tied. In science, tech, and all the arts, we find our way, we play our parts, reach for the stars, for the stars.
Good afternoon. I'm Moria, your BEYA Stars and Stripes STEM Career Day Student Ambassador. Today's Career Day is sponsored by Lockheed Martin, the leading aerospace and defense company. We would like to thank Lockheed Martin for continuing to support our program. Today's guest speaker is inventor and internet legend, Alan Emtage. He is here to share his insights and stories of success in STEM. But before we learn about his fascinating journey, let me bring up my fellow student ambassadors, Hope and Oliver, to share their thoughts on today's opening topic, communication. Hi, guys.
Hello, how are
Hi,
you?
Maria. Thank you for opening the show today. Hello, I'm Hope Pagan, a college student ambassador and a veteran ambassador of Career Day. Today, we're discussing communication. We'd like to invite our viewers to participate. How do you prefer to communicate in your daily life? What is the best communication tips you have for the audience? What are some difficult topics that you can think of when dealing with communication? Please share your thoughts with us in the chat. We'll begin with something simple. What's your favorite way to communicate? Moria or Oliver, you guys are welcome to.
I would say my favorite way to communicate would definitely be like face to face in person. Like that way allows you to like interpret body language and like just I feel like it makes you more connected in person.
Right. Like it's classic. Historically, we've been communicating face to face, and you see like the body language, the tone, and some things that you just don't pick up on text or through call. Honestly, though, I prefer texting, but like then again, but after texting, I like face to face communication. It just depends on how much I like you, I guess. I don't know.
My favorite way to communicate is with people that want to communicate with me as well. Like I love having friends that just like we both want to be in the same place at the same time and we're both very present. I think being present is very important when it comes to communication.
Right.
Do you, more than any other time in history, we have so many methods to communicate with each other. Do you think the method you choose affects how people interpret your message?
Yes, it does.
I agree, like for sure.
In what ways?
Like I feel like if you were to like text, email, or even write, like you could like lack some emotion, and you could lead to misinterpretation for sure.
Exactly.
I think. Sorry, Maura, I didn't mean to cut you off. Continue.
Oh, I was just saying exactly. Like there's so many. Like when you're texting, things can come off as people can misinterpret your tone and things you say, which in person people will understand immediately. Through text, it's like, what do you mean? Yeah, it's like ambiguous. Like, what do you mean?
I think a great way to explain misinterpretation when it comes to communication is emojis. So whereas the emoji what does a crying one remind you guys of? Like when you guys use a crying one with two like streams like this but with a smile, what is it? How do you guys use that emoji?
Laughing.
Laughing?
Yeah.
Same, but I've texted people and they've been like, why are you crying? I've been like, wait, no, I'm laughing. So I think simple ways like that, it's so easy in our world to miscommunicate because of the methods we have to communicate. Or if I'm a text message person and I'm arguing with my sister and she's calling me, like that's a misinterpretation because I want to text. I'm not trying to call you right now. And if she wants to call me, it's like now we're, misinterpreting each other just because we're not even on the same page on how and what way we want to communicate.
Exactly.
Another question I have for you guys is, how do you make sure your communication is clear? How do you know when you've been understood?
Always make sure, like, when you feel like you're not being understood, don't over explain, but if there's room to explain, like, kind of give some clarification on what you said, definitely do that.
I have a funny way that I make sure my communication is clear. So sometimes when I'm arguing with my sister, or like when I just have a weird moment with like a coworker or something, I kind of chat GPT. I explain them the scenario, my emotions, what I read in the other person, and I just go like, "Did I communicate?" And sometimes they've like came with like really critical criticism. They're like, "Okay, you did this, but this is how I felt this when you said this," or like they tell me you maybe you feel like this, but well, the way you were interpreted by the other person came across like this. So sometimes when I feel like I had a misinterpreted situation, I chat GPT and then they kind of show me like where it might have went wrong.
Wow, that's really creative, Hope.
Mhm.
Thanks. Some people look at it as like a problem or like, oh my god, that is so weird. But at the same time, who better to give you non-biased advice than AI that has no emotions?
Right. And
Mhm.
it's like a moderator in a
Right.
way.
It is. Me and my sister were getting into a fight and she come into her room and be like, Hope, I chat GPT'd it. I get what you're trying to say to me now. And then we just started laughing. But yeah, anyone that ever wants to use that as a tip or like I would say try it. Like this week, guys, like try it. And when we come back next career day, we should talk about it.
For real. I definitely will take that advice.
Like a
That's
professional arbiter.
Yes. If miscommunication happens, what are the best ways to fix it?
I would honestly say just like talking through it. It's like don't try to blame anybody outright.
Hmm.
If there's some
I,
confusion, you just have to clarify what you meant.
I love that. Yes, because sometimes I mean we have different personalities, so miscommunication happens all the time. For
Mhm.
me, the best ways that I can fix it is making sure I'm looking at myself first before the other person. Because if I'm not looking at myself and I'm not am I putting myself in a position to effectively communicate, then I'll never get to effectively communicate. So I just tend to like introspect before I continue to just say things.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Moira, do you have any ways that you like to fix miscommunication?
Well, I like to clarify what I said, just like what Oliver was saying. Yeah, I like to do that.
Hmm.
Yeah, same. I'm definitely miss. I'm a person where my personality like I'm a very opinionated person. So I'm at work all the time, and I work with all guys in the kitchen. So a lot of times when I'm a female, I have an opposite opinion of the opposite gender, and sometimes I just go straight with my opinion. And they take that as they're like, "Hope, wait, calm down." But then I go, wait guys, no, what I actually meant to say was this, and they're like, oh, I can understand your perspective too, and I get to learn both type of perspectives. So
Hmm.
I think it's about knowing your strengths and weaknesses.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to walk away.
Right, exactly. I don't want to like take a time out and say maybe we should revisit this. That's important. That's hard for me to do, but that's very important.
Yeah, because a lot of people have like emotional responses. There's also emotion and communication as well.
Yes, that is Oliver. You said it best. There's emotion in communication, and I think it's about realizing some emotions can be in communication, but some emotions should probably
Be
be
kept to
lessened
yourself.
before the communication, continues. Can you guys think of one emotion that kind of always uh gets you trapped up in miscommunication that you use a lot when
I feel
communicating?
like anger for sure. Whenever you get
Right,
angry, you start saying things that you don't mean.
right.
Things like that.
I think mine's is my emotion is stubbornness. Like I just
Mhm.
don't want to be wrong, so I don't like hear anything. So that's sometimes what I used to work on.
I feel you.
Mhm.
This was amazing segment today, guys. I love this conversation. Don't forget to chat GPT miscommunications. Thank you guys for being involved in this chat.
Of
Moria, over to you.
Thank you, everyone, for your thoughts and your openness for having these kinds of important discussions. I love having these discussions with all my fellow student ambassadors. Viewers, I hope we've given you something to think about, and we thank you for your participation. Now, here's Hope with today's special guest, Alan Emtage.
Thank you, Moria, for introducing the show, and thank you, ambassadors, for the great discussion. Today's guest is a member of the Internet Hall of Fame and a pioneer of Internet information services. Please welcome Alan Emtage. Hello, nice
Thank-
to see you.
Good afternoon, Hope. Nice to meet you too.
We would love to see your presentation telling us all about your journey in STEM. Please let us know how it all began.
Okay, well, um, I thought it would be kind of fun to do this presentation. It's a short presentation. I thought it would be fun to do it with a cartoon, with a comic strip, I should say, not a cartoon because it's not moving. A comic strip that a friend of mine had written a couple of years ago about my journey, and I thought for this audience it would really appreciate it. So, my name is Alan Emtage. I grew up here in Barbados, which is where I am right now. I was encouraged at a very early age by both my parents and particularly one of my mother's aunts, great aunt of mine, called Connie, who really encouraged me in what we would call STEM now. We didn't think about it like that at the time, but she was very much encouraged me. She was a teacher herself, and she very much encouraged me to explore the world and explore my interest in science. Uh, she would she would take me to the museum or make me listen to or have me listen to radio shows or shows on television about science. And once I got old enough, in about 1981, a long time ago for you guys, I acquired my first computer, which was a ZX81, which had 1K of memory. So most people here wouldn't even understand what 1K of memory is for the entire thing for the computer. And that really got me encouraged to explore my interest in computers. After that, I left university. I left Barbados and went to university at McGill University in Montreal. McGill is a great school, sits at the center of a wonderful city, and but is also pretty cold, I have to tell you. So the next slide will show you my arrival on campus at McGill University. And there I studied computer science. At first, I wasn't sure what exactly I was going to do, but computer science was what remained. I find computers to be really compelling because no matter what field you're in, you can always apply computer science to it. You can always apply the use of computers to pretty much any field that there is in arts. It doesn't matter if it's painting or if it's writing. It doesn't matter if it's biology. It doesn't matter if it's astronomy. Computers always have a utility in our modern world. So I studied at McGill for several years and got my undergraduate degree there. And then I decided to do a master's degree at McGill as well. While I was doing my degree, I went to work for the School of Computer Science as a system administrator. Now, a system administrator, for those of you who don't know, is someone who basically keeps the computers up and running. Keeps them working, fixes them when they break, not the hardware but the software, and just basically keeps everything humming. So at that point, McGill had bought a whole set of very high-end computers. And the thing about funding computers in universities, a lot of universities will get grants from the government or other organizations like corporations, but often they get the money for the hardware, but not for actually running the computers. So so buying software, for example, is often not funded with these kinds of grants. So we started the internet. This was 1987, the internet had just started to reach universities. The internet had been around since 1969, but the cost of computing and the cost of networking had finally dropped to the point where your universities and your research organizations like Lockheed Martin or IBM or Hewlett Packard, HP, they were all connected was starting to connect via the internet. And my job at the School of Computer Science, or one of my jobs, was to try and find free software for the students and the faculty because we didn't have the money to buy the software. And at that point, and still to this day, you can find a lot of free software on the internet. And they were much of the software and data was held on what's called anonymous FTP archives. FTP is just a protocol for transferring files between computers, and people would put the publicly accessible free software on these FTP archives. But at that point, there was no system that would allow you to find what was held on all of these archives. So you would have hundreds of these archives across the internet, but there was no way to say, if I wanted to find something that was a word processor, for example, or to help me with geography, the data maps, or stuff like that, you just didn't know where to find them. So for myself, I developed a set of programs, that would go out on the internet at night and would pull all the listings of all the software that these computers had, and then I could search them myself. And for many months, I had that as a personal, just a personal thing. So when people came in and asked me, I could quickly look up where the data was, and I could tell them where it could be found, which archive they could find the things that they were looking for on. And at one point, my boss at the time, who was another student called Peter Deutsch, came in, and he knew I had this little database of all this information, and asked me to find something for him because somebody had asked him that question on the internet themselves. And so I gave him the information, and then it started happening over and over again. People said, well, can you find this for me? Can you find that for me? And we realized there was no point having a human, me, in the loop here. What we could do is allow other people to have access to this data directly on the internet. So we had to come up with a name quickly when we put this up online. And I came up with the name Archie, which is the word archive without the V. I'm not a fan of the Archie comic books, by the way. That's not my favorite. Anyway, so we put it online, and it became incredibly popular really, really fast. And if you can see on the next slide here, we put it on there, and all of a sudden, people had all these questions, all these queries to find the data that we had put in the database, and it became incredibly popular. And that was the first internet search engine. And the thing is, we didn't tell the school administration we were doing this, because we knew if we told them, they probably wouldn't have allowed us to do it. And you learn a lesson early on that it's easier to ask for forgiveness than to ask for permission. So we put this up, and by the time they discovered that we had been doing this, they were it had been gotten really popular, and McGill was seen as this institution that was really helping other people on the internet. So it was really good for McGill. We decided early on that we would not try to patent that. nowadays you think of the internet as this place where it makes billionaires, the guys who created Google and the guy who, and Mark Zuckerberg with Facebook, and these are all billionaires. But at the time, it was a new environment, and people were trying to figure out what this new internet, what this new technology would do, and how we'd use it. And we really didn't want to stifle that. We didn't want people to have to worry about whether or not they needed to pay us money to be able to use the technology. So we basically gave it away for free. And I know a lot of people look at it now and say, oh my God, how crazy, you could have been a billionaire. And the point was that we were never looking to be billionaires. We wanted to make sure that the people could get out there and use this technology and not worry about whether or not they were violating patents or copyrights or anything like that. So we did that, and it became really popular. So you'll see on the next slide that we talked about not suppressing the technology and so on. After that, I did a lot of work on the internet. I worked with Tim Berners-Lee, who was the guy who invented the World Wide Web. I worked with Vint Cerf, who was the guy that basically invented the internet, and a lot of other people whose names you wouldn't know necessarily, but who were instrumental in creating the internet that we know today, and creating the technology that we know today. I went on to co-chair the group, the standard setting group for URLs. So every time you see a URL, that conforms to the standard that the group that I chaired created. Now, Tim Berners-Lee had created the first URLs with the web. We standardized them and made sure that they could all talk to one another. So that was all in the late 80s and the early 90s. And after doing that for about 6 or 7 years, and traveling about 160,000 miles a year around the world, I decided to sort of put that aside and lead a slightly quieter life. So I moved from Montreal back to New York, down to New York, and I lived there for many years. And now I split my time between here in Barbados and Cape Cod in Massachusetts, which is where I spend most of my summers. So it was an amazing journey. I worked with some of the most brilliant people who created much of what we think of as the internet and the modern world, and it was a lot of fun. So that's a short version of my history. If you want to see the full comic strip, it will be in the description of the video, the YouTube video after we finish this. So you can see the full strip, where I don't know how accurate you think the comic strip is, but that's supposed to be me. So back to you guys.
I just want to say, I think the comment is very accurate. I think it depicts you very well, the character. I loved it. It was so entertaining to watch. Thank you, Mr. Emtage. I'd like to invite my fellow ambassadors to ask questions with me. Joining me once again are Moria and Oliver. Viewers, please take a moment to post your own questions in the chat so we can ask Mr. Emtage himself. Here's a quick break to learn about Career Day opportunities.
Calling all future STEM pioneers, leaders, and career champions. Join us on every second Saturday of the month for the BEYA Career Day. BEYA STEM Career Day is all about creating opportunities for students to venture into the world of STEM through the eyes of professionals. You'll meet mentors and presenters that will give you a sneak peek into the many options available to you in the field of STEM. Hosted by teen ambassadors, you'll find yourself among inspiring peers just like yourself that are aiming high for their future. To take part in the BEYA STEM Career Day on Zoom, visit fullstemhead.us and register for the next session. Again, that's fullstemhead.us. BEYA, becoming everything you are.
A world of careers unleashed. You can get it at BEYA.
That was a great commercial break. I'm not gonna lie, they really ate with that commercial.
For real. I love the theme song.
Yes, I was like this. Mr. Emtage, today's topic is communication. How did communication influence your career path?
Oh, you can take that on a number of levels, I suppose. The internet is about communication, right? I mean, that's basically what it does. It allows people and programs and AIs nowadays to communicate with one another. So I think I'm one of those. Um, I guess I describe myself as a geek, which is a nerd with communication skills,
Mm.
if you wanna put it that way. Um, and I think my ability to communicate um, really helped a lot through particularly those initial years when I had joined this group of internet pioneers, um, many of whom were a lot older than I was. I was kind of the young guy in the group, um, and having grown up with a lot of grown-ups, a lot of people who were older than me, I had learned early on in my life to talk to grown-ups. So I found that really helpful. But I think being able to communicate well, to communicate clearly, to communicate precisely, so that you are actually giving people, telling people exactly what you mean, um, is an incredibly valuable skill, and it's something that as particularly in science, where science and engineering in the STEM fields, where things have to be precise, where you can't be imprecise in your descriptions or your calculations. Being able to be precise and clear is a very valuable skill, and something that is well worth the effort and the practice.
That's some great advice. Um, when you went off to college, what was your major?
I majored in computer science to start off with. I wasn't sure necessarily that's what I wanted to end up doing, but you had to declare a major. And so that was the one I declared. I thought about going into medicine,
Oh,
but my best friend in college pulled me aside one day and said, "You don't want to do medicine. You would just get too emotionally involved with the patients, and in medicine you have to have some emotional distance from the people you're dealing with." She said that she didn't think that I was able to do that, and she was probably right. So I stuck with computer science. How I describe it is, computer science is the thing that I was left with when I eliminated everything else.
hmm. What was the hardest class you took in computer science, in your opinion?
Oof. Um, Actually, the funny thing is, because I was doing an honors program,
Hmm.
um, I had to do a bunch of mathematics as well as the computer science stuff. The computer science stuff I didn't find that hard myself. Some of the math stuff I found hard, and modern algebra was the thing that really, really, I just never got. I just
Uh,
it just never worked, and my teachers took pity on me, but I just never. My professors, yeah, but it never worked for me. I just never got modern algebra. It's one of those things that you have to have the mind for it, and I did not.
I just want to highlight real quick back to the story of your friend telling you that she thinks that computer science is a better career path for you than medicine. That was a great form of communication because it was honesty, and that one message kind of like painted out the path for the rest of your life. Like, I think that's a
Absolutely,
big. I think that
absolutely. It
are
was
you
a
and
it
her
was a
still in
fork in
touch?
the road.
Yeah. Are you and her still? Are you guys still friends today? Are you still in touch?
Very much so. We
And
talk. We talk every couple of days.
and what would you say to young college students like I and Oliver, who's a high school student, about friends? How has friends like um like helped you in your career path, but also when you are a Hall of Famer in of the internet. So what does that look like friend wise as well?
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll ask the administrators. I will send them a link to. I got an honorary degree, doctorate at McGill a couple of years ago, and I gave us a little speech. And one of the things that I talk about is friendship,
Oh wow.
and how important the friends that you find being at university, especially in your first couple of years, your first time, often for people away from home, you get to be yourself for the first time. You're not dealing with, you're not there with parents, and you're not dealing with people necessarily that you grew up with. You're meeting total strangers, and you get to be put the person that that you're growing into. And those friends are some of the often the friends that you will keep for the rest of your life. The two people that I met the first day in class, one on one left and one on the right of my side. One of them is that lady Patricia that I'm talking about. The other is a guy called Francois, and we're still very close friends to this day.
Oh,
So I would strongly encourage you to, not necessarily everybody that you meet, but certainly the people that you form a bond with. Absolutely, friends will carry you through the rest of your life. You will have relationships. You may get married. Have kids or whatever. Never lose your friends.
That was one from the right, one for the left. That was like I was never gonna guess that. That's amazing. And it kind
Yeah.
of like you said, like the paths like this. It kind of like one right, one left. Like kind of like you just kind of painted out each path for you in regards to
Mhm.
your future. I think that's so deep in a way as well. And I'm so happy that you have those great friends.
it's always the closest circle that influences you the most. So
Yeah,
I'm glad you
absolutely.
had some good people on your team.
Yeah, and they're still on my team.
I had a question. While you were a student, what would you say was like the most valuable piece of advice that you were given?
That one right there, actually, I think. You
Oh,
know, the one saying, don't um, be honest with yourself as to what you know you're capable of, what interests you. Don't do it for somebody else, because you know try to do the things that you feel that you would excel at, and not what some necessarily somebody else wants you to do. I know too many people who became lawyers, but didn't actually really like being lawyers, but their parents or their grandparents or whatever, or they saw their best friend becoming a lawyer and they thought they should do it as well, and got into it and realized this is not what I wanted. So save yourself some. I'm not saying that's not valuable. It can be that training can be valuable, but I would say try and find those things that you are the most that you're the best at. But that gives you pleasure. That gives you joy as well. That gives you satisfaction.
That makes sense. It's always good to do the things that make you feel passionate.
you mentioned pick a career path that you excel at. But then you also mentioned how one of the math topics was hard for you during college. What piece of advice would you give to someone that wants a specific career, but there's a mountain they have to climb, or there's a barrier such as math? Because I know math is something that I'm not looking forward to as a student. So what would you say for the hurdles that you have to go over for college students or high school
You
students?
I would say if the goal is worth it, you will put the effort into getting through. Now, I'm not encouraging this, but what I will say is that for the really hard hurdles, a C is still a pass, right? So
That's right.
you get through the hurdles. Even if you don't necessarily excel at that one particular class, if the goal is moves you towards your larger if it moves you towards your larger goal, then just get yourself through it.
My aunt once told me C's get degrees.
This is true. This is true. I'm not saying you don't want to be a C student across the board, because that means that you're not doing stuff that you're good at, right?
Yes.
You do want, but yes, occasionally you're gonna get a C, right? You
Yeah.
know, it's just, that's the way life works. You can't be A's all the time, you know, throughout life.
Right.
Exactly. And like someone once told me when I was starting college is like, don't be afraid to take that L. So it's like if you have to get a C, take that L and move on with your life.
Yeah.
But I have one more question. So earlier we were talking about Chat GPT, and you're like the nebula for the internet and for the popularity of the internet. So what do you think over 30 years later, after
You're being a little generous there, but yeah, okay.
yes, what do you think about advancements like Chat GPT?
I think AI is going to change everything. I really believe that AI. There is not a field on earth. There is not a field of study that AI is not going to change. That is not going to going to. Now remember, people keep making jokes about, oh yeah, then AI images. You know, the people have 6 fingers or they have 7 fingers or that kind of stuff. And I keep telling people, that is, the complaining about that is like looking at the airplane that Wilbur and Orville Wright built and said, look, it doesn't have first class, right? We are at the very beginning of this technology. We have not yet seen what this technology can do. And I'm saying that for good and for bad, right? You know, every technology is a double-edged sword. You can use it for good and you can use it for evil. The knife that cooks your delicious dinner can also be used to hurt somebody, right? So every technology is a really is a double-edged sword. But I think used for good, AI is going to change. It's going to change the world. What can we do to assure that it's used for good? Well, good people, you know, um, good people. The bad people are going to do bad things, you know. But we try to, like I did, we try to do it for the benefit of the world, and make some money on the side too. Great, there's nothing wrong with making money. But Google used to have a phrase for the company, or a motto for the company, which was "Do no evil," and I would say that's a good motto to live by.
I definitely agree. I definitely believe that AI is going to be used for the good and for the bad. And I think that individually, we're preparing ourselves now for how we're going to use it in our future. Like, you can use it to cheat, but you can use it as a tool and an assistant. So whatever you train your mind with now in AI I feel like is the side you're going to be on in the future, because it starts with us, especially as next generation. It starts on how do we want to use it, how do
Exactly.
we want it to help us or impact us. So I think you made me realize that I need to make sure my ethics are lining up with how I use AI, so I can be on the good
Absolutely.
side.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's been wonderful talking with you today, Mr. Emtage. Thank you for taking the time to join us again for Career Day. Do you know someone who would be an excellent guest for BEYA Stars and Stripes Career Day? Please tell us about them. Before I turn it over to Oliver with this month's STEM inventor, here's a word from our sponsor, Lockheed Martin.
I work at Lockheed Martin as a cybersecurity systems engineer, and I've been at Lockheed for 19 years. The role of cybersecurity engineering has a tremendous impact on the mission to deliver secure systems to our customers. I have 3 children. My kids are the center of my universe. I would not be able to continue working effectively as a working parent if it had not been for the flexibility in our work schedule and the flexibility of our leaders to help me exercise a flexible work schedule. One of the reasons why I've been at Lockheed Martin for 19 years is because I think the culture and the values that we demonstrate really reflect my own personal values. Performing with excellence, acting with integrity, those are steadfast values that we talk about day to day. I have seen great changes in the diversity within our company. 19 years ago, there weren't a whole lot of women in leadership, so the few that we had were highly coveted. Today, I'm proud to say that we see quite a few women in leadership roles. The advice that I would provide to young women and girls who are interested in STEM is go for it. You can do it. Don't let anyone stop you.
Hello, my name is Oliver Fu, and I'm a senior in high school. Thank you to our guest, Alan Emtage. It was very fascinating to hear your story. Now, we will learn about the story of a STEM inventor from history, Frederick McKinley Jones. This month's STEM inventor was a military veteran, Frederick McKinley Jones. He was dubbed the King of Cool, and he's the reason why we will become as clear in discussions. He was born in 1893. Frederick McKinley Jones was an American inventor dubbed the King of Cool. Over his lifetime, Jones received more than 60 patents, and he was a self-taught learner with passion for mechanics and engineering. His inventions varied widely, from audio and radio innovations to portable X-rays to his most famous invention, a portable air cooling unit that could be used in trucks and aquatic vehicles. This invention was used during World War II to transport food, medicine, and blood to military members. McKinley Jones himself was a World War I U.S. Army veteran who taught his fellow soldiers about electrical circuitry. Jones is a titan of ingenuity and a member of the National Inventors Hall of Fame. We'll end with his own advice, paraphrased. There are 3 things you can do to become successful. First, don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. Second, you have to read. And third, you have to believe in yourself. Don't listen to others who tell you you are wrong. Nothing is impossible. Go ahead and prove them that you're right. Students, we hope all of you have been enjoying learning more about STEM careers in today's BEYA Stars and Stripes STEM Career Day. Live from STEM City, USA. Inventors like those featured on today's program could be inspiration that drives you from your own discoveries. Thank you for taking the time to listen. It's one of our most important parts of communication. Now, we'd like you to hear from you to tell us your thoughts about today's STEM inventor and how that will inspire you. Keep searching for new opportunities to learn. You never know where they will take you. Next month, we will share another inventor who changed our lives through STEM. Let's take a quick commercial break to learn about STEM City USA.
What if you could build your own city? A place where every child can find nurturing people to help them achieve their full potential. A place where every adult can access job training support. Where health education is abundant. Where social justice ruled the land. A place without limitations. Welcome. You have arrived at STEM City USA. It is what every city should be: a safe and trusted community where you find people and resources to help you become everything you are and beyond. STEM City is unlike anything you have ever experienced. It is a digital twin of the world around you, only better. STEM City is about energy and soul renewal. It is more than a digital world. You can almost feel the power of live cultural events, music, and theater. STEM City promises a better future for children with caring mentors and hands-on activities with dedicated tutors to support our youth. STEM City is your passport to a healthy lifestyle with weekly events addressing our community's many issues. STEM City is your financial well-being with helpful information on wealth management, career advancement, job training, and so much more. STEM City is the community you deserve. It is the city where your dreams can come true. STEM City USA, a place in the sky that is accessible to all who reach for the stars.
That was STEM City USA, our 2D metaverse. Today we talked about communication, our link to the knowledge of our predecessors, and the information we pass on to the future. Join our online community by using Colin AI, a resource that gives you information about STEM professionals that can guide you through the decision-making process. Learn more about Colin AI, the AI-powered library in STEM City USA. You can interact with our archives and ask questions to locate primary sources from decades of different media. Don't forget to visit stemcityusa.com and enter the Education and Discovery building. Then, enter the library to sign up for your digital library card. Next, we will turn our attention to Mimi to deliver her signature segment, Mimi's Moments.
Hello, and welcome to another one of Mimi's Moments. This month, we will be focusing around a recent passion that I have found of mine that I would like to share with all of you guys. Throughout my recent months at school, it has brought me so many new adventures, people, and different challenges that I'm proud that I've overcome and faced, and have got to meet a lot of great friends, professors, and just get involved in my community, which I actually didn't get the chance to do in high school, which I'm extremely happy to share about. Through these experiences and different things that I've got involved in, a recent passion of mine that I would like to share with you all is a club that I have joined called Desert Wave. Desert Wave is an all-women's robotics team that just takes the chance to program different robots called Baby Dragon and Dragon, that are two robots that communicate with one another and are put underwater to do different tasks and are raced against other robots from other colleges around the US. I got involved in this club through my professor, who is one of the leading staffs for that club, as well as a TA who is a leader in that club. And she just talked to me about all the different things that she got involved in when she was in my shoes. And it was just really inspiring talking to her and just getting the chance to understand just what Desert Wave is and being involved in robotics, as well as just being a woman in robotics. This club was created to just help a lot of women and girls like me who are very interested in robotics and STEM and wanting to get hands-on, but feel like they're not really heard sometimes in an all-male field sometimes. And sometimes it's difficult expressing yourself and just feeling heard in a sense of belonging when you feel like you're the odd man out. So this club was created to just help show a bunch of girls and people like me who feel interested in robotics just don't know where to start. And so being in this club, it has taught me a lot of different communication skills, just getting out there, talking to different graduate students and upperclassmen and professors about robotics and knowing that just because I might still be young and just not as well diverse and well learned as everyone, that's okay. It just gives me the experience that I need to just get out there and express my passion with robotics. And I'm just so happy to share this because it just helped me understand that you're not the only person out there who's interested and don't know where to start, especially coming from high school. You're in this new environment, in this new place that you have never been before, and you have so many hobbies and things you're interested in and may not even be interested that you just don't know how to get out there. And so just reaching out and understanding that, hey, this may or may not be a passion of mine. Let me just test it out and see what I may or may not like. It really helped me understand my love for robotics, as well as just sharing different things and programming and coding that I never thought that I'd be able to experience. So I share this all with everyone watching and all of our viewers to let you know that there's always a passion out there for you. And there's always something that you have in your heart that you would always like to pursue and don't know where to start. And that's okay. Don't have imposter syndrome, because that is just something you can have when there's so many people out there who know so much more than you and have more experience and more hands-on ability that you're just not quite used to it. That's okay. I just want to let you guys know that regardless of where you stand, one, find that passion for you, whether it's a passion in your heart that you enjoy, and there's people out there who know more than you. Just go out there and experience what you want to know more of, because just growing with people who know more with you help you level and just get a better understanding of your passion, and can even help teach them sometimes. And I also wanted to let you guys know that just always take that extra step. I thought that I wouldn't be a good fit for Desert Wave because I don't know much about coding, let alone a lot of hands-on projects coming from a smaller high school background, but they can take you step by step and help you grow. So just definitely take that step and definitely find that club, that program, or even just something that suits you. And if it's not out there, I challenge you guys to actually make it and just make a club or make a program or just make an activity and share it with someone, because you can pass on a passion to someone else that you're just talking to and they would never think they had a passion for. That's how Desert Wave started, and that's how they have new members just like me. So I wanted to share that with you guys, and I hope that you can take this into your new year and just get experience with new different activities that may sound different to other people, but something that you enjoy. Thank you so much for listening. Over to our next ambassador.
Thank you, Mimi, for your wonderful segment and for sharing your wonderful club. I will definitely look into that. And thank you to all who have joined us for Career Day. We appreciate your insights in the chat and your opinions and questions. We hope that we've effectively communicated how important STEM can be to your own life, and that listening to this program will encourage you to communicate your own hopes and dreams with the rest of the world. Thank you to our Career Day speaker, Alan Emtage, for joining us today and sharing his experiences and insights. Please remember to visit STEMCityUSA.com for more BEYA STEM Career Day segments. We would also like to give a very special thanks to our BEYA STEM Career Day sponsor, Lockheed Martin. They are known for their groundbreaking work in aerospace, arms, defense, information security, and technology around the world. Please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and join us for the next Career Day next year on January 11, 2025, where we'll feature even more STEM professionals, college students, and high school standouts, as well as preparing for BEYA in February 2025. I'm ready to explore new STEM careers with you. Happy holidays. See you next time. This is Moria Bowman signing off.
From every corner, from far and wide, our talents merge, our futures tied. In science, technology, arts, we find our way, we play our parts, reach for the stars.
Every day at Lockheed Martin, we are creating the future. When did I decide to become an engineer? Where I grew up in my village, we had a lot of interaction with nature. So I was always fascinated by the flight of the hummingbird. Seeing this marvelous aerodynamics of the hummingbird gave me this general idea that I wanted to be working on the ability to control things that flew. I've had this long running curiosity, I still do today, of asking the question, why is this the way it is? Are there ways to improve what it does? And in fact, those are the same questions we ask every day at Lockheed Martin. That's why my colleagues come to work saying, this is great, we've done all these great things, we've built all these great systems, how could we make it better? And how could we make it better together? Lockheed Martin's engineers and scientists are at the forefront of innovation. Everything from AI and machine learning to hypersonics to directed energy. Individually, all these are really critical capabilities that we need to develop. To actually deliver something ahead of ready to our customers, it takes pulling these pieces together into an overall mission capability. What we are doing here matters to our nation, to our nation's security.